Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Sara English. I'm Sarah, and I'm so happy you decided to spend some time with us today.
And I'm Mike. Whether you are listening at home, on the bus, during a walk, or while taking a break from work, thank you for joining us.
We hope you can relax, enjoy the conversation, and let English become part of your day in a calm and natural way.
Today we have a topic that almost every English learner understands because nearly everyone has experienced it at some point.
We're going to talk about being afraid of making mistakes in English.
This conversation is designed for B1 to B2 learners using clear vocabulary, natural expressions, and medium-length sentences that are comfortable to follow.
As always, don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Just keep listening and follow the general meaning.
Your listening becomes stronger little by little, and your confidence grows through regular practice.
Before we begin, we'd like to ask you one simple question to keep in your mind while you listen today.
Here is the question. When was the last time you stayed silent because you were afraid of making a mistake in English?
Maybe it happened in class.
Maybe it happened during an online meeting.
Maybe someone asked you a question in English and you already knew the answer.
But instead of speaking, you smiled politely and said nothing.
If that has happened to you, please know that you are not alone.
In fact, many fluent English speakers remember feeling exactly the same way when they were learning another language.
Fear of mistakes is one of the biggest challenges for language learners.
And sometimes that fear becomes much bigger than the mistakes themselves.
Today, we'll explore why that happens and how we can slowly change the way we think about mistakes.
Because mistakes are not only normal, they are actually one of the most useful parts of learning.
Mike, can I ask you something?
Of course, go ahead.
Do you remember a time when you felt embarrassed because of an English mistake?
Oh yes, I remember one situation very clearly.
Really? Tell us about it.
Years ago, I was speaking with someone from another country, and I wanted to say that I was excited about a new project.
That sounds simple enough.
Well, I accidentally used the wrong word, and everyone looked confused for a few seconds.
Oh no, what happened after that?
At first, I felt my face become warm, and I wanted the conversation to end immediately.
I think many listeners know that feeling very well.
But then one person smiled kindly and corrected me.
So nobody laughed at you?
Not at all. They simply helped me say it correctly.
That must have been a relief.
It was, and something interesting happened after that.
What was it?
I never forgot the correct expression again.
That's amazing.
The mistake that embarrassed me actually became the reason I remembered the lesson so well.
That shows something important.
What's that?
Sometimes the lessons we remember best come from the mistakes we wanted to avoid.
I completely agree.
I also have a similar experience.
Really, I'd love to hear it.
When I first started speaking English more often, I spent a long time preparing every sentence before I spoke.
You wanted everything to be perfect.
Exactly.
Did that help?
Actually, no.
Why not?
Because while I was thinking about perfect grammar, the conversation kept moving.
So by the time you were ready, the topic had already changed.
Yes, it happened many times.
That must have been frustrating.
Very frustrating. I knew many words, but I wasn't using them.
That is a situation many learners experience.
Then one day I decided to change my goal.
What did you change?
Instead of trying to speak perfect English, I tried to communicate clearly.
That's a very different goal.
Yes, I still wanted to improve my grammar, but I stopped expecting perfection every time I opened my mouth.
And what happened after that?
I started speaking much more often.
Did you still make mistakes?
Absolutely.
Were they terrible?
Not really. Most of them were small and people still understood me.
That's an important discovery.
Yes, because communication is usually more important than perfect grammar.
Let's explain something that many learners misunderstand.
Good idea.
Many people believe that fluent speakers never make mistakes.
But that simply isn't true.
Native speakers forget words.
They use incorrect grammar sometimes.
They change their sentences while speaking.
They correct themselves in the middle of conversations.
Sometimes they even stop and say, "Wait, that's not what I meant."
Language is naturally imperfect.
Real conversations are full of small corrections and unfinished thoughts.
Yet learners often expect themselves to sound like a perfectly edited textbook.
That's an impossible standard.
Imagine learning to ride a bicycle.
You wouldn't expect to ride perfectly on your first day.
You expect small mistakes.
Maybe you lose your balance.
Maybe you stop suddenly.
Maybe you turn the wrong way.
Maybe you turn the wrong way.
But every small mistake teaches your body something new.
Language learning works in a very similar way.
Every conversation teaches your brain.
Every mistake gives you information.
Every correction helps you improve.
The important thing is continuing instead of giving up.
Sometimes learners ask, "When will I stop making mistakes?" My answer is always the same.
What do you tell them?
You probably won't stop making mistakes completely, but your mistakes will become smaller, less frequent, and much less scary.
I like that answer.
Because improvement isn't about becoming perfect.
It's about becoming more comfortable.
Comfortable enough to keep speaking even when you aren't completely sure.
That's real confidence.
Confidence doesn't mean never feeling nervous.
It means speaking even when you feel a little nervous.
Let's think about another situation.
Imagine you're ordering coffee in English.
You accidentally use the wrong tense.
Does the person serving your coffee usually care?
Probably not.
They simply want to understand your order.
Communication succeeds even when grammar isn't perfect.
Of course, grammar matters.
Yes, and learning grammar is valuable.
But grammar should support communication.
It shouldn't stop communication.
Sometimes fear becomes like a wall.
A wall between what you know and what you actually say.
The words are already in your mind.
But fear keeps them from coming out.
Our goal isn't to remove every mistake.
Our goal is to remove enough fear so that speaking becomes natural.
Because every conversation is another chance to learn.
And every small mistake is another step toward becoming a more confident English speaker.
We have talked about why mistakes are a natural part of learning. But now let's look at something even more important. Why are we so afraid of making them in the first place?
That is a great question because the fear usually starts long before we actually speak.
Very often, the conversation begins inside our own mind.
Before we say a single word, we start asking ourselves many questions.
We think, what if my grammar is wrong?
Or, what if I pronounce this word incorrectly?
Sometimes we even think, what if everyone notices my mistake?
Those thoughts can become so loud that they stop us from speaking at all.
The interesting thing is that most of these worries never become reality.
Many people are too busy thinking about themselves to carefully judge every word that someone else says.
That is true in English conversations and also in everyday life. Most people simply want to understand what you are trying to communicate.
Let's imagine a simple situation.
You meet a new colleague who speaks English.
They ask, "How was your weekend?"
You know exactly what you want to say.
You want to tell them that you visited your cousin, watched a movie, and cooked dinner together.
But suddenly, your brain becomes very busy.
You wonder whether you should use the past simple or the present perfect.
Then you start thinking about vocabulary.
Then pronunciation.
Then word order.
While you are checking every detail, there is only silence.
Finally, you smile and simply say, "It was good."
That answer is correct, but it is much smaller than what you really wanted to say.
That is true in English conversations and also in everyday life. Most people simply want to understand what you are trying to communicate.
Let's imagine a simple situation.
You meet a new colleague who speaks English.
They ask, "How was your weekend?"
You know exactly what you want to say.
You want to tell them that you visited your cousin, watched a movie, and cooked dinner together.
But suddenly, your brain becomes very busy.
You wonder whether you should use the past simple or the present perfect.
Then you start thinking about vocabulary.
Then pronunciation.
Then word order.
While you are checking every detail, there is only silence.
Finally, you smile and simply say, "It was good."
That answer is correct, but it is much smaller than what you really wanted to say.
Fear has reduced a beautiful story to 2 or 3 words.
Has that ever happened to you, Mike? More times than I would like to admit.
What usually happened?
I realized later that my first sentence would have been perfectly understandable.
Even if it wasn't perfect?
Exactly. It might have contained 1 or 2 small mistakes, but the conversation would have continued naturally.
That is true in English conversations and also in everyday life. Most people simply want to understand what you are trying to communicate.
Let's imagine a simple situation.
You meet a new colleague who speaks English.
They ask, "How was your weekend?"
You know exactly what you want to say.
You want to tell them that you visited your cousin, watched a movie, and cooked dinner together.
But suddenly, your brain becomes very busy.
You wonder whether you should use the past simple or the present perfect.
Then you start thinking about vocabulary.
Then pronunciation.
Then word order.
While you are checking every detail, there is only silence.
Finally, you smile and simply say, "It was good."
That answer is correct, but it is much smaller than what you really wanted to say.
Fear has reduced a beautiful story to 2 or 3 words.
Has that ever happened to you, Mike? More times than I would like to admit.
What usually happened?
I realized later that my first sentence would have been perfectly understandable.
Even if it wasn't perfect?
Exactly. It might have contained 1 or 2 small mistakes, but the conversation would have continued naturally.
Instead, overthinking became the real problem.
Yes, sometimes overthinking creates bigger difficulties than grammar itself.
That is why many teachers encourage learners to speak first and improve little by little. Improvement becomes much easier when you are already using the language.
Let's talk about another common fear.
The fear of pronunciation. Many learners believe they need a perfect accent before they can speak confidently.
But communication is not a pronunciation competition.
Exactly.
Clear pronunciation is important, but having a foreign accent is completely normal.
Every language learner has an accent.
In fact, English is spoken by millions of people from different countries.
Each person brings a slightly different pronunciation.
And that is one of the beautiful things about English.
It is an international language.
You do not need to sound exactly like someone from London, New York, Sydney, or Toronto.
You simply need to be understandable.
Sarah, do you remember any word that was difficult for you to pronounce?
Oh yes, there were quite a few.
Which one do you remember most clearly?
I remember saying comfortable very carefully because I wanted every syllable to sound perfect.
Many learners do that.
Then I heard native speakers saying it much faster in real conversations.
And you realized spoken English often sounds different from written English.
Exactly. That experience taught me something valuable.
What was it?
Listening carefully is just as important as speaking.
I completely agree.
The more natural English you hear, the more natural your own speaking slowly becomes.
That is another reason podcasts can be so useful.
You hear real conversations again and again,
Without pressure.
without exams.
Without someone interrupting you.
Your brain quietly begins recognizing natural patterns.
Then one day, those patterns appear in your own conversations.
It often happens without you even noticing.
Now let's think about mistakes from a different perspective.
Imagine that one of your friends is learning your language.
They make a small grammar mistake while talking with you.
Would you laugh at them?
Probably not.
Would you think they are unintelligent?
Of course not.
Most likely you would appreciate their effort.
You would probably encourage them to continue speaking.
So why do we expect ourselves to receive a different reaction?
That is an excellent question.
Sometimes we are much kinder to other people than we are to ourselves.
We forgive other people's mistakes immediately,
But we remember our own mistakes for days.
or even weeks.
That is why learning to be patient with yourself is so important.
Patience gives you room to improve.
Perfection gives you pressure,
Pressure often creates silence.
and silence creates fewer opportunities to learn.
Let's share another practical idea.
Good idea.
Instead of asking yourself, "Did I make a mistake?"
Try asking, did the other person understand me?
That small change can completely change your mindset.
Because communication is the main purpose of language.
Grammar supports communication, but communication comes first.
Another helpful habit is celebrating small successes.
Many learners forget to do that.
Maybe today you spoke English for 2 minutes.
Yesterday, you only spoke for 30 seconds.
That is progress.
Maybe today, you asked one question in English.
Last month, you were too nervous to ask anything.
That is also progress.
Improvement is often quieter than we expect.
It doesn't always feel dramatic.
Sometimes it simply feels a little easier than yesterday.
And those small improvements become something much bigger over time.
Another useful habit is keeping an English journal.
What do you mean by that?
After speaking English, write down one thing you did well.
Not only your mistakes?
Exactly.
I like that idea.
You can also write one thing you want to improve next time.
That creates a healthy balance.
Instead of only seeing problems, you also notice your growth.
Growth becomes much easier to see when you record it.
Before we finish this part of our conversation, let's remember one simple truth.
Every confident English speaker was once an uncertain beginner.
Every fluent speaker has made hundreds or even thousands of mistakes.
The difference is not that they avoided mistakes.
The difference is that they continued speaking after making them.
Every conversation gave them another opportunity to improve.
Every correction made them a little stronger.
And every small step slowly built the confidence they have today.
So, the next time you feel nervous before speaking English, remember this.
Your mistakes are not standing in the way of your progress. Very often, they are helping create it.
We have shared many ideas today, and before we finish, let's bring everything together in a simple and practical way.
Yes, because learning English is not about collecting perfect grammar rules. It is about building the confidence to communicate with real people.
If you remember only one idea from today's episode, let it be this.
Every mistake is evidence that you are using English instead of only studying it.
Think about children learning their first language.
They make countless mistakes every single day.
They use the wrong words.
They pronounce things incorrectly.
Sometimes they create completely new words.
But nobody expects them to speak perfectly from the beginning.
Instead, people smile, encourage them, and help them improve naturally.
Language develops through practice, repetition, and patience.
As adult learners, we sometimes forget this simple truth.
We expect ourselves to perform perfectly after only a short time of learning.
That expectation creates unnecessary pressure.
And pressure often makes speaking feel much more difficult than it really is.
So perhaps the first thing we should improve is not our grammar.
Perhaps we should improve our relationship with mistakes.
I really like that idea.
Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, we can see them as teachers.
Every mistake gives us useful information.
It shows us what we already know and what we can practice next.
Let's imagine two English learners.
The first learner waits until every sentence feels perfect before speaking.
The second learner speaks often, makes mistakes, listens carefully, accepts corrections, and keeps going.
Which learner do you think will become more confident after 1 year?
Probably the second learner.
Exactly. Not because they are more talented.
But because they have given themselves many more opportunities to grow.
Confidence usually comes after action, not before it.
Many people believe they need confidence first.
But confidence is something we build through experience.
Every conversation becomes another small success.
Every success makes the next conversation feel a little easier.
That creates a positive cycle.
Speak, learn, improve, and speak again.
Little by little, fear becomes smaller.
And your voice becomes stronger.
Mike, if one of our listeners told you, "I'm too afraid to speak English because I always make mistakes," what would you say?
I would probably smile and say, "Congratulations."
Congratulations? That sounds surprising.
It does, but I mean it sincerely.
Explain that for us.
If you are making mistakes, it means you are trying.
And trying is the only way to improve.
Exactly. Nobody becomes fluent by staying silent.
I think that message is very encouraging.
I hope so.
Because many learners underestimate how much progress they are already making,
They focus only on the words they forgot.
instead of celebrating the sentences they successfully communicated.
That is why reflection is so valuable.
After every conversation, don't ask yourself only, "What did I do wrong?"
Also ask yourself, what did I do better than last time?
Maybe you spoke a little longer.
Maybe you understood more than before.
Maybe you stayed calm even after making a mistake.
Those improvements deserve your attention too.
Let's review a few useful words from today's episode.
The first word is confidence.
Confidence means believing that you can do something, even if you are still learning.
For example, I don't know every word, but I have enough confidence to start the conversation.
Another important word is communicate.
Communicate means sharing your ideas, feelings, or information with another person.
We also used the word patient.
Being patient means accepting that improvement takes time.
Another useful word is progress.
Progress means moving forward, even if the steps are small.
We also talked about encouragement.
Encouragement is support that helps someone continue trying.
Finally, we used the word mindset.
Mindset is the way you think about challenges and opportunities.
A healthy mindset helps you continue learning without becoming discouraged.
Now we'd like to leave you with one small challenge.
Sometime today or tomorrow, speak one sentence in English that you normally wouldn't say.
It could be while talking to a friend,
During an online class,
at work.
or even while speaking to yourself at home.
Don't worry if the sentence isn't perfect.
Your goal is not perfection,
Your goal is participation.
because every time you participate, your English becomes a little more natural.
And every conversation becomes another step toward fluency.
Before we say goodbye, we'd love to hear from you.
Write a comment using simple English.
You can write, "I'm your name from your country, and today I will stop being afraid of making mistakes."
Or tell us about one English mistake that taught you something useful.
Your story might encourage another learner somewhere else in the world.
We always enjoy reading your comments because they remind us that we are learning together.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
We hope this conversation helped you feel a little calmer and a little more confident.
Remember, every fluent speaker was once a beginner, and every confident speaker has made many mistakes.
So don't wait until your English is perfect before you start speaking.
Speak with courage, learn with patience, and keep moving forward one conversation at a time.
Take care of yourself, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode of Talk Sara English.